Say hey everyone, welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Alongside me is my guy at Spin Doc Sports. Doc, how are you doing over there?
Doing good. It was a very good weekend. I swept the board yesterday, going 3-0. So
Can't
that
complain
was
with that.
good. Yeah, it was a good way to end the weekend. So ready to start this week off right. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm trying to as well. A good weekend with the guys coming out here to San Antonio. Dabby Cat, Big Show, Nasty Nate, all the guys over here. That was a good time. Nonetheless, you guys will probably see some videos of that soon. I would like to give everyone a little spoiler alert. I defeated Cab in an athletic event. So that should be very fun to watch and see what event was that, how did I do it, et cetera, et cetera. So I cannot wait. All right, let's get after it here. Doc, we've got a short slate here. Let's not keep the people waiting.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys. Before we get into it, I will mention real quick that we need to sign up for the Pub Sports Radio Poker Tournament right now. Pub Sports Radio Poker Tournament live on Bet Online. You just go to the poker section of Bet Online, search Pub under the tournament, and type in that password, case sensitive. Pub Sports NFL starts this week on the 16th. We need bodies in there. We need to show Bet Online that we've got a great fan base that will go out there and support the events that we do, especially when it's posted on Bet Online. So shout out to you guys. Join up. $25 buy-in. It'll be a whole lot of fun. I'll be hosting the live stream that night as well. First game on our slate, Doc. Let's talk Framber Valdez and the Houston Astros here. A very interesting game. I have three plays as well to talk. Well, three plays going into this card. Two of them actually here. Miami team total over 3.5, a Miami money line here. I think Miami can be in this game. Framber Valdez, we remember his no-hitter. Came at Baltimore last time out. 7 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned runs. Home road splits, very interesting for Framber with 2.44 compared to a 4.55 on the road here. Miami Marlins hit lefties well, surprisingly. You know, it's kind of shocking. The righties numbers aren't nearly as good, but they smash lefties. And I want the Marlins here. So I think the Marlins win this first 5. I hedged a little bit and also took their team total. Shout out to you, No Flush Allen, wherever you are out there. But it took both 3.5 minus 110 and first 5 money line plus 109 here, Doc. Let's talk about the market here real quick, and I'll pass it off to you.
Mm-hmm.
Money line wise, we have 67% of the bets and only 45% of the money on the Houston Astros. So see a little bigger bets on the Marlins, and on the total here, 55% of the money and 53% of the 55% of the bets and 53% of the money on the over there. Doc, what do you think?
Yeah, this is, we are totally aligned here. This is my first official play as well. Marlins first 5 money line. I see it at plus 106 on FanDuel. If you got it at a better plus price, that's good for you. When I look at this one of the things that I like to do for my K-prop card that then bleeds into other areas of capping as well is to really reverse engineer lines and break them down. So when I look at this one, I always or typically go by what it is at open. That tends to be very, very close to what the books think will either actually be the case, or in some circumstances, we'll get an equal amount of action on both sides, which, as most everybody knows, that's how books make money. So when I look at Braxton Garrett here, I see that his innings prop is right about average at 5.5, but I see that his earned runs, hits, and walks all opened up lower than what the quote-unquote standard line that you normally get for most regular starters, which would be 2.5 earned runs, juiced one way or the other, 5.5 hits, juiced one way or the other, and 1.5 walks, juiced one way or the other. Braxton is lower on both for both earned runs and hits, or at least he was when it opened up. The other piece to keep in mind here is that with the innings prop being about a half an inning or so, almost 10% above, then for him to allow less earned runs and less hits, When you combine that with certain other metrics, you get a picture that this could be a start where maybe he doesn't strike a ton of guys out, but Braxton can go out and perform very, very nicely here. The other thing that you look at is when you compare a number of the guys in the Astros lineup, when you compare their overall stats, their whiff rating, their strikeout rating, etc., versus breaking balls compared to fastballs, you do see that it's a lot easier to get the Astros that way. They are one of the better fastball hitting teams in the major leagues. Also don't strike out as much against them either. So Braxton is a breaking ball pitcher typically. He does utilize a slider, a pretty hard slider for both lefties and righties to get them out, with approximately very similar metrics on both. The other point here is that against lefties over the last 30 days, the Astros are only walking 8.8 are walking 8.8% of the time, which is above league average. However, the only comes from Braxton because he does not walk guys at all. Walking guys at only a 3.1% clip at home. You factor that in with some of the other advanced metrics compared to what the Astros do. And this just very, very easily to me at home seems like a Marlin spot.
Oh, I'm glad I'm on the right side, seemingly. Let's find out later.
This is for sure a Marlin spot for me.
I'm glad. By the way, total went from 7.5 to 8. So there's a good indication. A lot of people betting the over in this game, and I lean that way as well. Shout out to BJ, his best bet on the San Diego Padres tonight. And of course, I'm on the opposite side because it seems like the case every fucking time, BJ. But go ahead and start counting that money because the last couple of times have gone in your favor, obviously. So shout out to you, BJ, my guy. 5-unit bet on the Padres there. Let's move on to game 2, a very, very uninteresting ball game. Pirates Mets. First half, this game would have been interesting, but no longer. Quinn Priester, I mean, he's been fine recently, Doc. I thought he was going to get crushed against the Atlanta Braves, but he went 4 innings, 9 hits, 4 earned runs. I was like, it's fine. But I still don't trust him here, and I just don't want to back the Mets. And it has to be pretty special circumstances for me to back the Mets here, especially with Cookie Carrasco on the bump here. So I didn't have much on this one. We'll talk about the market real quick. We've got 75% of the bets and 75% of the money on the Mets here. That's pretty shocking, honestly. 72% of the bets and 82% of the money on the under here, Doc. What do you think of this one?
Probably not going to be watching much of any of this. The only thing that I would tell you that you can look at in this one is that I'm actually looking pretty hard here at the over strikeouts for Priester. Over 3.5 is at -130 right now. It's a little high a juice for a guy that doesn't strike many guys out and is a soft tosser. However, when you go and look at the Mets metrics, for those that follow my Tau play, we cashed this last week with Kyle Hendricks, all just absolutely baffling the Mets. You go and you look at their K percentage and their whiff percentage against fastballs, and it's sparkling. You go and compare the same thing, the same people, to breaking and off-speed stuff, and it just jumps. The off-speed stuff specifically, when you look at Priester too, the man does not really have a four-seam fastball, and even when he does throw one, he never throws one to righties. He's only thrown 5 the entire year. 5 four-seam fastballs to right-handed batters the entire season. Vast majority of his pitches, 36.1%, is a sinker, set up to get strikes, and put away pitch, a very ridiculously slow, low and away slider. 85.3 miles per hour with 2,400 RPMs of spin. It's got this big banana curve going this way. Those are the kinds of pitches that the Mets lineup, even before they just totally packed it in for the season, really, really struggle with. I haven't decided if I'm going to play it yet, but if I'm looking at this game, that is the only thing I'm interested in, would be Quinn Priester over 3.5 strikeouts. I wish he had even slightly better strikeout stuff, because then I could take it easily. I just don't know if I want to pay -130 for a guy that only throws 89 miles an hour.
That's funny. 3.5 is a low number, but
it's a very low number. And like I said, the key to striking the Mets out, if anybody wants a crumb of info for the rest of the year, It's always on off-speed stuff, not fastballs. They hit fastballs. They can make contact on fastballs, especially high velo fastballs. It would for sure be the slow stuff. Very, very much confuses them.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm not going to be betting this game at all. Shout out to Earl Sports Bets in here as well. Well, thank you for watching. Let us know if you have any Mets takes. I know you always got them in there in your holster. Let's go to the Yankees. Yankees Braves. And I thought this line would be minus 300, honestly. Maybe I'm just naive because the Yankees are so public all the time. But, I looked at the market in this game. I was pretty surprised. People are betting the Yankees here. And if they're going to win a game in this series, it might be this one because Clark Schmidt has been serviceable this year. 38% of the bets on the Yankees, but 81% of the money on the Yankees here against Max Fried, who's obviously very good, coming off of a shaky second start off of the IL. It's been a while. I think we might get another one of those starts. So, shockingly enough, I lean Yankees here. I think Clark Schmidt could be good enough. 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run against the White Sox at the White Sox. 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs against the Astros at home. I think he could be good enough here. I lean Yankees, but I'm not brave enough to make the bet, unfortunately, Doc.
Yeah, I'm for sure not taking him to win outright, even though the plus price is juicy here. Definitely don't trust Clark Schmidt any longer than about 3 innings against this lineup. My concern here runs with taking anything with the Braves would be with Max Fried. Since coming back, he does only have a 59.2% first strike percentage, only strikes guys out in the low 20s, maybe even a little bit less when he goes 1-0 on them. The reason why that's important is the Yankees are the most patient team in the league. They have the highest.
That's shocking.
They are the most patient team in the league. They have the lowest swing rate outside the zone, and they also have the highest called strike rating because they take so many pitches. They also have, if I remember right, the most pitches thrown to their hitters on 2 strike counts. The most. Oh. So I know it's for sure over the last 30 days. It might be for the whole season. So, but for this one, it's not something that I just don't trust Clark Schmidt. I think that if you want to, I saw some people in the chat say it. You can look at Yankees team totals, first 5 team totals. You can look at Fried's walks if they're out. They were not earlier today. Let me make sure. They are today. Over 1.5 walks is minus 130. Not my favorite price to pay for a walks prop. But I think that you can I think that you might be able to, just play around with that one, maybe even parlay it with something else if you're interested. I would look to attack on those fronts. Probably not on the Yankees to win the game, because then I look at how Clark Schmidt matches up with this offense. And yeah, I know they just put a doubleheader and they were on prime time and all that stuff. Like, that's all well and good. But just the way these lines are set tells me that I just don't see a lot of value in the Yankees money line. But if you're going to play it, who wins the game, betting the Braves here just is probably not an option. So nothing for me.
I'm going to move on Yankees team total over 3.5 minus 120.
Yeah.
I want to move on that. Tori, by the way, asking for the ticket counts of the money line and such. I'll say it again here, Tori. 38% of the bets and 82% of the money on the Yankees money line here. And totals wise, 66% of the bets and 60% of the money on the over. Hasn't moved from the 9, but it does seem like this might be a higher scoring game.
Yep. So. It actually wouldn't surprise me with the, especially for the first 5. You could look first 5 over too, because like I said, Clark Schmidt can struggle second and third times through the lineup here. So it is possible that he gets touched late, and with the Yankees being so patient and Fried throwing under 60%, limited sample size, but under 60% first strike percentage to a team that is so patient like the Yankees, or at least has been, that concerns me as well. So I think that the first 5 over is something that you could also look for.
Okay. Beautiful. Overs, hopefully in this game. Yankees team total added on here for me. Let's move on here. Next game, our 4th game, Oakland and the St. Louis Cardinals. What a disaster of a ball game this is. No fucking chance. I lean over. just because of, obviously Miles Michaelis. I saw this stat that he's one of the highest percentage of strike throwers in the league, which I really enjoy. But there comes a point where you have to start throwing a little more, throw more balls in there because you don't get barreled up. And the Royals offense, the A's offense, I don't know why I'm thinking of the A's, but the A's offense has been, I don't want to say good, but not bad against righties since July 1st, 12th, 104 weighted runs created plus against righties. So I lean over in this game. Another reason why I lean over, let's talk about the market. It's one of those sweet spots for it. 37% of the bets and 78% of the money on the over in this game. Very nice. And then obviously money line wise, 16% of the bets on the A's, but 53% of the money on the A's there as well. So very interesting. I wouldn't want to bet the Cardinals at this high of a favorite price. It's the A's or pass for me. And I might get there with the over, Doc. What do you think?
I am going to have a play on this game. I'm going to wash my hands after I make it, but I do have a play on this game. And I personally see value in the run line for the A's for first five plus a half at plus 112. Here's the reason why. So you mentioned that Mikolas, he throws a lot of strikes. This is true. However, the problem is that he also throws a lot of really, really bad strikes. So the MLB average for the percentage of your pitches that are meatballs, meaning like they're just right over the heart of the plate where hitters can crush them, is 7.3%. In 2,242 total pitches this year, Mikolas's meatball percentage is 8.7, and actually over his last few starts, it's nearing 10. The average swing rate on a meatball that a pitcher throws is 76.1. On Mikolas, it's 81.5, and he's one of the worst pitchers for hard hit contact rate. I reconcile this with some of the you talked about it, some of the recent offensive, I don't even want to say resurgence, but more, yeah. I would more say development, since their team is so young because they traded or cut everybody else with Oakland. The other part here is that when Mikolas throws pitches in the zone, average for contact for MLB is 82%. For Mikolas, it's 87. When you factor in how many pitches are thrown over the course of a year, that is an absolute shit ton. I also go and I look for most recently, the A's are actually, for the first time in a while, have been consistently over 80% on pitches that are making contact in pitches that are inside the zone. They're at 83.3%, which when you stack that up against the rest of Major League Baseball, they actually rank in the top half. It's one of the few swing metrics they rank in the top half, but they do rank in the top half. So you have a team that actually is making contact and is getting guys on base for pitchers that put the ball in the zone, because the way to beat the A's is by making them chase. Their chase contact last 30 days, 49.1% compared to a 55.3% MLB average. Mikolas does not do that. His chase percentage his chase percentage is right around league average, but his chase contact, MLB average for pitchers is 58%. Mikolas is 73.3. So that's probably why it seems like he throws a lot of strikes, because he does throw a lot of shit that's right over the plate that guys can hit. So for me, plenty of value here. I also believe that Sears has had a few starts, despite his record, where he's obviously has not been helped about his offense by his offense at all. So for me, for the first five for this one, I don't trust Mikolas at all. He just looks absolutely washed up. So I will take Oakland at the plus price at plus a half. I saw that there was a question about Sears under 5.5 strikeouts. Yeah, I don't mind it. It opened up at minus 140 this morning. So I'm not sure that I want to pay that. And it's actually at minus 160 right now. So I like the play. I don't like the juice. So if I'm going to do that, I'm probably going to look to parlay it with something else. Do like a small little like a small little 2-bet parlay.
Okay. Beautiful. Well, good.
But unders decide to be on if you're playing the strikeout prop for that one, for sure.
Beautiful breakdown, Doc. I appreciate you answering that question as well. I think I'm going to move on the over. Bet Online has over 8.5 at minus 125 here. I think the A's can get to Michaelis, like you're saying. And if Spears is vulnerable, then I'll just benefit from that. It's kind of one of those situations where I think Sears gets hit here. The Cardinals' offense is still plenty good enough, and any kind of bonus, any kind of runs we get from Michaelis was a bonus for me
Yeah,
here.
and actually, there is some evidence line wise that supports that as well, Jose, because the Sears walk line and the Sears earn run line were both juiced to at open, but we're both juiced to being over what the quote unquote standard would be. It's more along the lines of he's going to allow 3 runs instead of 2.5, 2 walks instead of 1.5, and possibly even more. So that would for sure support the over at open. Mikolas didn't even have any of those lines. But to me, looking at his stats and his past performances with how much he puts the ball in the zone out there for guys to hit, and how the A's have actually been doing a really nice job of making contact and hard contact against pitches in the zone. To me, there just are going to be way more opportunities for Oakland to put up runs here. And so that's why I would take them to either be tied or winning after the first 5.
Beautiful. Over 8.5, minus 125 official for me here.
Don't blame me at all.
Angels Rangers, and this is a huge series for the Angels. This is like their last stand. If they want any kind of momentum, this is it. And that honestly made me want to back the Angels here. But on the road, it's tough. Patrick Sandoval, I like, but the Rangers are just kind of a machine when it comes to hitting lefties. Let's see here. Full season, they're third, 118 weighted runs created plus, but on the bright side for Patrick Sandoval, since July 1st, they're only 14th, 110 weighted runs created plus, which is still good, but just not as good as the rest of the league, it seems. So I absolutely lean towards the Angels here, but I just don't have the stones to make the bet, and I lean over. But the market disagreed with me, and one of the reasons why I've stayed off here, it's 54% of the bets in a 50-50 ticket split, so everyone pretty split. Though the action did have this opening up at a 9, and now it's 8.5. And 89% of the bets and 90% of the money on the Rangers here. I can understand why the Rangers are the play. I get it, but I'm not betting them here. I'm not betting Max Scherzer at this line, and he's not looked like that dominant either. So I'm good here. The another reason, all that money on the Rangers, that the line opened up at minus 165, now up to minus 180. So there's another sign that the Rangers could roll here today, but I've got nothing. And shout out to Dabby Cap, who's in the chat. Maybe a first 5 over in this game if you guys fancy that, but nothing here for me. What do you think, Doc?
Vitalis kind of spoiled it. I am on a side on this game, and it is 100% the Angels on this one. Tons of reasons why this was originally lined, why the way this was originally lined clued me in. So right now, I'll just make it official. I'll take the Angels full game money line at plus 158. I'm going to do probably a half unit for sure. I might go all the way. I haven't decided. I want to see the Angels final lineup for this one. So when I look at this one, I see a couple things. Number one is the action on it has brought it a little bit more back to center. But when these lines were released, Scherzer's innings prop was all out of whack. It was way under what he's been throwing since he's become a Ranger. And even in his 5 or 6 starts before that, when he's been going 6.5 innings, and it was set under 6. It was actually one of the first times I've ever seen a max prop set under 6. It's back up to 6 now, but part of that is because the public is just going gaga over this one, because it's Max at home against the Angels and so on and so forth. And I understand all the reasons why you might want to back Texas here, but I look at some of their numbers, and I do see an 8.4% walk rate over the last 30 days against right-handed pitching. I also see that Max I say at home, but basically with Texas, walk rate is right around 8% when it was more around 6 before that. So that is up as well. Also, I also believe that the Angels are going to run a bunch of lefties out there. Max only Ks them at a 24.5% clip versus 32.9. So you're probably going to get Ohtani, you're going to get Moniak, and so on and so forth. But for me, when I saw how this one was lined, and then I went over to the other side and I saw Sandoval, and his innings prop was over. And the big thing with Sandoval, the huge thing with Sandoval, is that he cannot find the strike zone. He has a 13.3% walk percentage on the road, and this has been his problem over the course of his career. At home, the Rangers walk 10.1% of the time. Both of these are way above average, especially when you compare the number of plate appearances I'm talking about here. But you have Sandoval, where at open, his walks prop, which is almost religiously over 2.5, meaning that they might give you slightly plus money on the 3. It was only set where he'll get 2. Where he'll get 2, that might seem insignificant, but for a guy like Sandoval, who has such a huge trouble walking guys, for a team again that's as patient as the Rangers, that's a big thing. It's a big thing. So I also look at the disparity between Sandoval and Max for their odds to get the win or to not get the win. They are set way, way closer than you would expect for how the game line is set for this one. I personally think that the Rangers are a trap line here. I really do. I've seen this movie before, and the vast majority of the time it does come out the way that the books initially projected it to. So, I've always been a big proponent. I said this in another Twitter group I'm in. When a line speaks to me, I have to listen. The line here is the line here is saying for sure, Angels or nothing. And to Troy Torrens, no, it's not a trap line at -188. That's not what I meant. What I meant was when you look at all the other anecdotal and ancillary lines that surround it, like Sandoval, like Scherzer, like the total, compared to what you would expect based on how these two teams match up. Expecting Max to go less than 6 innings against this team, the books don't give away money like that. Max's outs prop to start the whole betting, like basically to start the betting day, was way too low for a guy at home, for a guy against the Angels, to only expect him to go barely over 5 innings.
Well, beautiful breakdown, Doc. I like it. I was going to look at some RBI props actually here. Shout out to Mike M, who has gotten me into them, I guess. I looked at Corey Seager RBI at +135. He's 1 for 12. 1 for 12 against Patrick Sandoval. I was pretty shocked to see that. I looked at his numbers against lefties, and he's incredible, obviously. And then obviously on the other side, it's like Ohtani. But I'll stay off of this game. I like the Angels as well. I hope they win, but I want nothing as well. Nutflush asking about Arizona team total over, and he's asking because he's driving here. We'll talk about that game here shortly, Nutflush. But Arizona team total on Bet Online, a 6.5 -125, and a first 5 3.5 at even money. There, Doc, and
that would be the Chris Flexen effect, I do believe.
Yeah, he's not the best, but we'll talk about him. He's not the best there. That's a high total there. Jeez,
that's high praise, I think, for where he's at right now. Anyways, go ahead.
6.5 is crazy. First 5 3.5 is okay, but 6.5,
like it almost makes you want to just put a little something small on it, just because you're like, there's no way they wouldn't set it that high unless they expect it to hit. My God.
And it's juiced, of course, so they don't want you to bet it.
And the Diamondbacks offense since the break has just been just hideous in so many spots. Anyways, okay, we're not on that game. Go ahead, move on.
Beautiful. We'll talk about it after.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
Mariners Royals, good game here. Great pitching matchup. We've talked about Brady Singer before, and shout out to Jimmy, who's been on Brady Singer and saying how well he's pitched, and he's been early on the market with that. I mean, he's a much better home pitcher than he is road. I like Brady Singer here. I just don't want to bet against the Mariners, who have been just red hot and looking like last year's Mariners again after fucking almost 100-ish games. Troy or BJ saying this is a trap line, Royals or nothing. Yeah, for me, I agree with you. Royals are nothing as well, but I thought under or nothing here. For me, like Gerald Jones, This line opened up at a 9 apparently, and has dropped all the way down to an 8. So I was just too late. I guess I should have looked at it last night and bet it then, but just the line just moved way too far for me here. So let me talk about the market here. 77% of the bets and 74% of the money on the Mariners here. I'd love to see where this opened up for the Mariners here as well, because is there some more reverse line movement happening? Minus 141. It's kind of gone up to minus 146. So, okay, sure. But under or nothing for me, Doc. But I passed just because it's I guess a little bit too late for me. Like I said, the line opening up at 9. And by the way, 56% of the bets and only 57% of the money on the under in this game. The line has moved that much. So very interesting. What do you think?
I got to agree with a lot of people in the chat here, is that if I'm betting this game, I'm betting the Royals or I'm doing nothing. This seems kind of trappy as well. Not as trappy as I think that Angels Rangers seemed, but there are definite signs that it is. The other thing I have to give, I have to speak on too, is that Logan Gilbert has been somebody who you can use from a K-prop perspective up until recently. Reason being is because whenever a guy changes his pitch mix, which he did this year by adding in more of that split finger, is that you typically see a bump in strikeouts. You can see a temporary bump in performance because there's no scouting, there's no film. Guys aren't used to what he throws. Ever since for the first few months into the season, teams have caught up very, very, very quickly. When you go and look at Gilbert over on, just look at his game logs. You look at early of the year and you look at his K totals. I mean, 6, 8, 7, 6, 10, 6. And then you look at his last 5 games. I know he went ape shit against the Padres, but then you look at before that, 5-5-5, allowing 3 or more earned runs in 3 of those games, allowing 5 total home runs in those games. So, it's just, I don't know. Guys have caught up to Logan Gilbert with all of the stats and metrics that are now available on him. The Royals at home as well. The Royals at home too, 19.5% K percentage over their last 800 plate appearances against righties. That is not what you'd expect to see from a Kansas City Royals team. The other thing that you have to see too, that leads me the Royals way, is that Gilbert gets a lot of his strikeouts and a lot of his outs too on chase contact. 75th percentile chase rating that would align with him throwing that splitter. And then you go and you look at the last 30 days and overall swing metrics, the Royals are in the top 7 in most all swing metrics. Swing rate or contact rate inside the zone, they're actually close to first. Lowest CSW, called strike plus whiff rating, they are under 26%. They're one of only 4 teams to do that. The contact rate inside the zone is above average. I could go on, but my point here is that some of the young guys that they've been bringing along have been very, very contact focused, and it's really starting to show. It's also starting to show because you go over and you look at some of the normal props for Gilbert beyond strikeouts, and you see that his hits would indicate 6 instead of 5.5. You see that his earned runs would be 3 versus 2.5. So, I might look at a Royals first 5 team total over. I for sure can't play Logan Gilbert over on strikeouts. I haven't decided if I'm going to take a stab at the under yet. But, I just look at this as teams have caught up to Logan Gilbert, and it's not like the guy he's got a good fastball, but he doesn't have a dominant, not like a Garrett Cole fastball or a Spencer Strider fastball where you can just rear back and blow it by guys. So when guys catch up to your secondary pitches, you tend to get touched.
Yeah, I'm going to move on the Royals team total over 3.5. Minus 115 for me official here. So I'm going to bet that after the show. It'll be very fun. Cannot wait for that. All right, next game, the aforementioned Arizona Diamondbacks versus the Rockies game. I really have no interest in this game, but shout out to our guy, Nufflush Allen, who asked us about Arizona Diamondbacks team total overs. Chris Flexion is particularly horrific. He's pitching at home. in the Rockies, where I believe he has career terrible numbers there as well. So I just want nothing to do with this game, Doc. You seem particularly eager about this game.
No. I just think that Chris Flexen sucks. So if you're gonna bet this game, trying to even think about taking the Rockies, nope, I'll pass on that one. I look at Chris Flexen and this isn't really like matter from a capping perspective to me to what I would want for this game. But you look at all the starters today, because I graph this out every day, and number of batters faced per inning, Chris Flexen has the highest number recently of average batters faced per inning, but the second lowest number of average pitches per at bat. So incredibly high. He faces almost 5 guys for every inning. Most starters face 3.5 to maybe 4. And he has the lowest number of average pitches per at bat. What that tells me is he doesn't get any swing and miss. He doesn't get any strike ones typically. He just gets his ass handed to them. So that disparity is something you almost never see. So I just don't know if I can take a total this high for a team on the road. Even though it's Coors and it's Flexen and so on and so forth. So anyways.
Pass game for me here as well. I want nothing to do with it here. So let's move on to the game of the night. Shout out to my guy BJ, who's preaching the gospel of the San Diego Padres in the chat right now. And BJ, I'm already on the Orioles, unfortunately. I bet them earlier today, so I'm already in the fuck spot. But BJ has just dominated me when he's gone up against me in these spots, especially when his Orioles bets too. I'm pretty sure he's like 3 or 4-0 in those last bets against me. So BJ made a gigantic bet on the Padres here. Dabby Cab is on first 5 Padres here with you, Darvish, and we all know what that means here. I like the Orioles, but everyone's saying it's a trap here, and maybe it is, but I already bet it, unfortunately. I'm on it. Let's talk about the market here. And BJ's preaching in the chat, so shout out to BJ. Keep doing your thing in there, my guy. Hope I can get you on the show one day, BJ. I would love to see that as well. 35% of the bets and 34% of the money on the Orioles here, so 65 and 66 on the Padres there. And totals-wise here, looks like this game might be going over according to the bigger bets here. 30% of the bets and 85% of the money on the over in this game. This opened up at an 8 according to Action here, and is now up to an 8.5. So I do like the over in this game as well. But let's find out here. I mean, I like that look from BJ. I always like his big bets. So shout out to him. I'm on the Orioles, but we'll see what happens here tonight. Doc, what do you have on this very anticipated game?
Yeah, my initial read was Orioles, but it turned into a pass with some of the deeper metrics that I looked into, especially for the first 5, because my issue with this is that the Orioles have a higher take rate than average here, and they also have a higher by almost 0.5%, which might not seem like a lot, but when it's over 1,027 plate appearances, which is the numbers that I ran, and you figure the average number of pitches per at bat, like I just said, it's a lot of pitches of almost 0.5% above league average. Why that's important is that you Darvish, especially at home. I mean, his first strike percentage for the season sits, I believe, in the low to mid 60s. At home, it's even better. So what that means is that when you're putting yourself in 0-1 holes like that, those can be situations where, especially guys towards the projected bottom of the lineup that Orioles are projected to run towards the bottom of that one, that doesn't always add up very well. So my lean on this one now, after digging into that, is an Orioles first 5 team total under, but I really, really don't feel confident enough to bet it. So I really have no take on the full game. I think that, Jose, you in the chat have done a great job of summarizing that one.
It's going to be very interesting to see what happens in this game. I always love the strong opinions in the chat. Like I said, I think BJ is a great capper. Then I want to be on the opposite side of him. So shout out to him, Rocco, and them mentioning how traps don't always lose. Haven't moved in the game yet. It's Orioles are pass for him. Maybe it's just a pass game. But I'm going to continue betting the Orioles. I got off of it for a day or two because all the dudes were in San Antonio fucking doing all this shit. So we're back on the Orioles bandwagon, and we'll see how it goes here. But yes, I agree with you, BJ. They're a good team. You just got to know when to fade them, and when you can fade them and win. Well, when you can fade them, you'll probably make good money doing it as well. So shout out to you there as well. And by the way, Troy mentioned that as well.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it probably doesn't have a much correlation with betting markets, but I saw BJ say Orioles are a public team. That is very, very true in most cases. But interestingly enough, I do wonder if they lost a little bit of their public darling status recently because of some of their performances, and honestly, just casual bettors who would follow them and then possibly bet on them because of all that shit with their announcer. It probably doesn't have much correlation, but whenever there's backlash like that, public teams can lose their shine a little bit. I don't think it's going to have much impact on the betting markets, but I just know that percentage of money going in on the O's, at least for the last few weeks, it poured in a lot bigger before that.
Interesting note. And
just a random thought. Like I said, probably has no correlation, but just figured that I would mention it.
Interesting. And by the way, Troy, I have 35% of the bets and 34% of the money on the Orioles. So very interesting that we have two different numbers there as well. Last game. Very interesting. The Rays versus the Giants here. And another one where maybe it's just me, but every time the Giants play Giants Stadium or whatever the fuck they're calling it nowadays, Candlestick Park, et cetera, I want to bet unders. And Glass now coming back here. We got a semi bullpen day for the Giants. It's Sean Manaea apparently going to be their primary here. Ryan Walker starting it off. The reason why I'm not on the under here is just a fear of the Rays against lefties. But we'll see what Glass now gets you. It's been July 31st was his last appearance. No rehabs. So we can assume it's just bullpen sessions for him. But I lean under here, Doc. I really do, but I'm just a little bit scared here. And I'll tell you, 84% of the money, 84% of the bets at 85% of the money there does not make me feel better about betting it. It seems just like a public under. Obviously, it's 7.5, and it's been 7.5, so that's not ideal either. All that money on the under is not moved. 57% of the bets and only 44% of the money on the Rays here. So it seems like it's a Giants and an over spot here, but I'm off of this game entirely. I talked about how the Rays are good against lefties, just to put a number on that point. Against lefties, full season here. I have righties, unfortunately, actually. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Give me a second. Sorry. There we go. We're on the right one now. The aforementioned Rays are, again, since July 1st, they've not been that great. I can't even find their acronym. Where the hell is TBR? And by the way, what an interesting week for the Tampa Bay Rays they're having. 211 plate appearances, 62 weighted runs created plus, second to last in baseball since July 1st. So, it's Giants or pass for me here, I think, Doc. What do you think?
Oh, it's Giants for me all the way. This is it's at home with a plus money, plus 114. I've watched more than enough Giants games to know that they're just sneaky at home. I do think that this is nothing that you can really take and put into a mathematical model, but the Wander Franco situation, you can talk about all you want about how these are professional athletes and, we're not going to let it distract us and whatever. I mean, the guy just got freaking sent home today. So to think that it's not going to be on their minds in any fashion is just silly. How much it will impact them, I don't know, because I'm not in their clubhouse. However, when I also look at this line too, I do think that Glasnow could possibly have a truncated start. His innings prop, or at least to start, was almost 9% under what he's averaging. This is the first time I've seen a Glasnow prop for innings or outs under 6 in a while. And you also look at his earned runs, hits, and walks, which the way they're set would indicate that he is either going to go out and absolutely lights out dominate this team on a cross-country road trip, or he's probably going to have a little bit shorter of a start. So to me, the value here is on the Giants at plus 114. And so I will make that an official one as well.
I will join you, Doc. It feels like I bet the Giants a lot recently, and I honestly do not feel like I have a positive ROI doing it. But I'll join you. Giants money line plus 118. Nutflush saying that I apparently got a text from Jimmy. I wish I did, Nutflush. Let me know what you think about the game, obviously. But I like the Giants here. And I also lean over here. It's very interesting that I lean over and in candlestick part here. But very interesting indeed. Let's recap the action here. And, of course, shout out to all our guys putting in plays in the chat. We appreciate you guys. My guy, Justin McElvey, Stacks Pod. Royals first 5 money line there. I'm on Royals first 5, team total over 3.5. So I love to see that, Justin. And don't forget our guy BJ as well, preaching the gospel of the fathers over there. So Padres for him as well. And yeah, BJ, I wouldn't be surprised at all if BJ cashed here today and then went on the Orioles tomorrow. So that's something that BJ has done before and made money on both sides. So shout out to him there. Rest of my plays here. Miami team total over 3.5 minus 110. Miami Marlins first 5 money line plus 109. Yankees team total over 3.5 minus 120. I'm on the Orioles money line plus 127. Oakland St. Louis Cardinals over 8.5 minus 125. And the San Francisco Giants money line plus 118.
All right. For me, 4 plays for me, 4 official for now, all of them plus money. That's I saw in the chat, people talking about their approaches. Love the discussion. Whenever I bet non-strikeout props or non-player props, I typically tend to try to stay, especially with money lines, I try to stay with plus money plays only or predominantly plus money plays. That's just how I do it. For me, I'm on the Marlins first 5 money line at plus 106, on the A's first 5 plus a half at plus 112, the Angels full game money line at plus 158. That's for a half unit right now. I'm really, really strongly considering going all the way. Everything that I've read into this game and into this line indicates that this is like the trap of the night. If I'm wrong, so be it. And then like I just gave out, we just talked about the Giants money line at plus 118.
Awesome. Beautiful work there. Spin Doc. What you got going on this week?
So, we'll have a strikeout prop should have a strikeout prop pretty much every day. I'll be on with Sharpie on Friday. And also, I tweeted it out yesterday, but since you guys have given me this platform, I have to say a huge thank you to you, Jose, to Slaughter, to Sharpie, to everybody at Pub Sports who gave me this platform, and for everybody who joins on this show that had positive words, people that donated, people that shared. Thank you so much. We got the final receipts from the charity golf tournament about a month and a half ago for my mom and for our foundation in her name. And we raised right around $6,000. So that $6,000, we are 100% not for profit. So 100% of that profit will be donated to multiple families who have loved ones that are stricken with ALS, and for them to bring caretakers into their home, get it's called respite care, but basically it means relief from being a caretaker 24/7. And then it can also provide for the families of people who have loved ones stricken with ALS to maybe like go out for a night because your money and your time and everything is just sapped. So like we might pay for like a weekend getaway for a mother, for a husband and wife taking care of their father, something like that. So, and then the remainder of the money after that will be donated to several research labs that further the study of ALS drugs. So just so you guys know, we for all your everybody who helped on here, thank you. We generated $6,000, and 100% of that money, it will be donated very soon. So it will all go to a good cause to fight ALS. So thank you.
Beautiful, Doc. Appreciate you sharing that information. It's also it's always great stuff when you can plug it. And yeah, good shit as always. Making $6,000 for any kind of charity is a great thing, and I'm glad that you're doing it, and someone needs to. So thank you, Doc, as always.
Yeah, it's good stuff. we made I think just a little bit more than last year. So, but whatever we can make is always a help, because like I said, 100% of it goes to families of people that have loved ones with ALS to care for them.
All right, beautiful work. BJ, by the way, this will be my official invite to you, BJ, on the 20th, August 20th on Sunday morning. Let me know if you're interested in jumping on Say Hey Plays, my man. I'd be interested to have you. We'll see if we can get you some good sound and a good background. So let me know, BJ. And Doc, thank you again for sharing that information, and thank you for what you do for ALS as well. 10 minutes, guys. In 10 minutes, Say Hey Plays. The Monday night live stream will be live right now. Jimmy and Mike will be breaking down the MLB card as well, so get their opinions on what to bet on. And they've been dominating the live betting stream, so go check them out immediately to start, because Mike M hit a plus 1,000 right off the top of the show last Monday with the Dodgers live. So definitely go check that out, and do not forget to sign up for the poker tournament on Bet Online. $25 buy-in right now. It's on August 16th, starts at 8 p.m. There's the password on the screen, case sensitive. Let us know if you guys have any issues signing up. DM me on Twitter. If you do, I'll try to help you out in any way I can. But sign up. We need as many people as we can in there to show Bet Online that we being business, and hopefully we can do these in the future. Doc, I hope to see you in the poker tournament. Who knows? We'd love to see you spinning some cards in there as well. And anyone in the chat, we hope to see you guys in there as well.
Actually, I don't know if I told you, I used to, back when I was in college, I actually used to, that was actually my job for a while. I mean, it wasn't a huge paying job because I was still going to college and I had another part-time job, but I actually played semi-professionally for about 3 or 4 years. And then, yeah. So yeah, it's like riding a bike. You don't forget. It's like riding a bike. You don't forget.
I hate to see you in it, Doc. I'd hate to see you in it. Prizes to the winners and all that good stuff as well. And we'll be hosting a live stream, so it'd be a fun time. Doc, thank you for joining.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you guys. Say hey to us on social media at SpinDoc Sports, at Jose Bouquett. As you can tell, the background, they're already starting the show, so go tune in now. Say hey, and we'll see you guys next time.